Have I got a video for you today? We're going to be using some gorgeous colors in this home decor video. If you don't like color, that's okay, because we have plenty of techniques that you could use in your own DIYs. We're going to go ahead and start out with project number 1. We're going to be mixing some DIY paints in Blood Moon, Hey Sailor, and Black Velvet. I have to tell you, I'm so excited about some of these projects because some of them are very magical and I have something that I want to share with you. Project number 1 is this sort of art case. I'm sure it had like markers or something like that in it. It had some, I think, at the start of a project, but I went ahead and painted that beautiful color we mixed, and now we're going to be adding this Lost Garden transfer. I have already given this a seal coat with this RUSTOLEUM chalked matte finish. It is in the description box below if you want to check that out. And now we're adding this IOD transfer. I am adding it all over top of this gorgeous texture, and you're going to see how that texture shows up in a little bit. I go ahead and add one little piece to the end and then another little piece to kind of complete the look that I wanted. Since we have already clear coated the paint, I now need to seal that transfer, and I'm just going to seal it with some clear wax by DIY because we need this as a base coat for this gorgeous black wax. This is Dixie Belle's Best Dang Wax in Black. It's my favorite black wax. It's really thick and creamy and has a great consistency. I'm going to wipe this back a lot off of the flowers because I don't want them to look really dark or dirty. And then I'm going to use this gorgeous DIY Golden Rule gold wax. Now I love this stuff for a more sheer look and like that dreamy consistency, and I thought that we would just add some of that onto all these little vines and kind of just drag it along all around the edges and give this piece more of an artistic look. Now you can do this with just about any kind of gold wax or even gold paint. You all know that I use a lot of different paints. I even love folk art gold paints, so you can use it in the same way. I will use this gold all along all of the edges all over the box. The next thing we're going to do is, I thought we would use this Bronze Age. It's a Prima wax, and we're going to just add it to the handle and to these little latches and even the latches on the very back, because I didn't want to kind of overrun this with gold, so I thought a different color metal would be great for this. For the inside of this, I thought we would go with Roycycled's paint swatch. I'm not sure if that's what it's called, paper, and I'm just going to cut this to kind of fit in the inside of each little area. And I'm using DIY's liquid patina as my decoupage medium to get this beautiful paper put down. And I just went ahead and did the traditional method of putting the liquid patina down, laying my paper, spraying it with water, and letting it dry. I will go back later and put a top coat over this paper so that if anybody wants to store anything in this box, it will not affect the paper. To finish the inside of this off, I went ahead and just put a coat of this Champlain all around the edge, blending into that purple and then into the paper. You all will have to let me know what you think about this box now. I want to take this time to say hello to everyone and welcome all of the new people, and thank everyone for the comments I have been reading. You all are just amazing and I appreciate you so much. Project number 2. Oh goodness, I'm going to show you how I used stamps, paper, paint, and a frame to make something that I feel like could fit into many styles, like dark and moody, old Victorian. This could fit in a sleek modern home, a very artistic home. I'm excited for y'all to see this. So the first part of this, I'm layering just a bunch of different paints. Like I said, using my paintbrush to kind of make brush strokes. Then we're going to dry that layer because we want to see more layering and less blending. So to get this next layer started, I'm going to add some of that white chalk paint, and I've got a brush that's going to stipple really well. Now this is just one of those chip brushes, and I'm just pouncing my colors in, and I'm going to add more of those grays and the whites to get the background that I want. I did go ahead and finish this on out to the edges. And the next step is we're going to be using this beautiful, it is a retired stamp by IOD. You could probably find it somewhere. I think it's back plates, or I'm not sure. It's not got a name on it other than IOD, but I picked out this beautiful one that looks like a scroll, and we're going to be centering that at the top of, well, sort of centering it. This whole thing ends up, just wait till you see, and I still love it. All right, the next stamp we're going to be using is a border stamp from this Bee stamp, and I have no idea what it's called either, but it's also an IOD stamp. I started buying IOD stamps years ago, so I have a few that is no longer made. I'm not sure if that Bee stamp though is. Rural Scenes is the next stamp we're going to use, and we are going to be making a little scene at the bottom of this frame. I had so much fun picking these little scene parts to go together, and I even put this little man and woman here, and I made a mistake, and instead of using the mask, I just stamped them right over my little mountain. So I just went back in with some paint and then re-stamped over them, and that fixed it perfectly. We're going to use this little Countryside Memories stamp. I love these small stamps from IOD. And I'm just going to take this vine and put it all over that, both sides of the frame, just to kind of give it a whimsical look and not so stiff and straight. And then we take a cute little bow from that and just put it at the top. I only put ink on the bow part, not the little tails. And now we are starting the biggest part of this. I'm trying to measure, laugh out loud, because I don't ever measure anything. Well, I'm not really measuring. I'm using my ruler to make this all perfect and straight. And it does not get, this is why I don't use a ruler. It's useless. Wait till you see. It's so crooked, all this is. Like I said, I still love it. So basically, I'm making little boxes of different stamps that I've just went through and picked out, and I'm just going to make rows of these until I get kind of down towards the little area that I made at the bottom. I apologize because I was not recording when I started painting in these little boxes. Basically, I'm taking different colors of the IOD clay paints. The first row has that petticoat pink that I just showed you and the cherry picked, and then I mix those two for the purpley mauve in the middle. For the rest of the boxes, I just picked some other colors that I thought would look good together. Now you can do a whole set of just one color on here. Like you could go from very pale blue to very dark blue, filling in the boxes as you go with each darker color, or you could go from very dark to very light. This could be used for any color, any theme, if it's pastels, if it's brights. This was so much fun, and I really wanted to make a bunch of these, but I just didn't have time, and I wanted to have a lot of different projects on this video, so I didn't want to make more than one of these for the video. To add even more interest to this, I go ahead and grab some of the gold pieces from several different of the gilded transfers from IOD, and I just have fun with them. I just put them kind of around, opposite each other, down the vines. Oh, this was so much fun to gild this piece after getting all those gorgeous colors. And I love how the colors look kind of not perfect and faded. They've got some of that background showing through them, which is exactly what I wanted. I didn't do 2 coats because I'm hoping this whole piece will just look aged, even though it's not. Now that I have this how I want it, I'm going to go ahead and add some of that matte chalked Rust-Oleum clear coat because I don't want this to be shiny, but I need everything to be sealed so that those clay paint colors will show their true color once they're sealed. For the frame, now you know we're going to put this in a grand looking frame, and I do love the way this is. However, I did paint the base white because I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I thought I would leave some of that gold, but I think you're going to be happy once you see what we do. Now, I give this a good couple coats, I think, or one coat of this old school, and then I clear coat it with my favorite clear coat, and I let that dry. Now, I let it dry after the old school, and then I come back and I clear coat it. Once the clear coat's dry, we are going to be taking this gorgeous gold marker. It's Decocolor gold marker. Now, unfortunately, my focus was acting up, but I hope you can see what I'm doing. This stuff dries very quickly, so I'm just putting it on and taking a fan brush and making it look how I want. Now, I am sorry, I did do some splattering all over. Basically, I just shook the marker up and down and the splatters came out. And this is the finished piece. I love how this piece looks old and distressed and can fit in almost any decor. Let me know what you think about this one. Is this one your favorite too? Oh my gosh, I am so excited to show you all what I purchased a few months ago. I've been excited to show you. I just haven't had time. But these are Sarah Renee Clark color cubes. This is color cube 1 and 2. I don't know if she's going to make more. I'm not going to need more. I didn't even need 2, but I had to have them because they're beautiful. And the colors just spark inspiration. They also give you ideas on mixing and matching colors. That's just a sticker. Each box comes with a number 1 and then a number 2. So you can put those on the outside of the box to tell which box is which. Now, these are all cards. I call them swatch cards, and this is the instructions. Both boxes come with the instructions. There's more things you can get online for free when you purchase these, the digital stuff, but I wanted the hands-on, and look at that. Oh my gosh, isn't that beautiful? I used to love looking at these swatch things on Pinterest. It would just be a photo and all the colors, and these are actually numbered so you can keep them in line with each other, and then the actual palette colors is on the back as far as the names, and then also as far as the codes, the actual color codes. Isn't those gorgeous? I haven't been through them all, just a few. Now here's box 2, and again, it just continues with all these beautiful colors. How fun is this going to be? I'm going to pull some of these out, and this is what inspired some of the projects today. I pulled some of these out and I was like, look at all those purples and pinks. Look at all that aqua. And it really just made me want to use those colors in a video. So it definitely inspired some of the pieces today. And I hope to use more of these in the future in our projects. And if you have these already, let me know in the comments below how much you love them too. Project number 3. I love these colors that I chose for this project. I'm using an old book. I used Paint Couture's Premium 2-in-1 Primer, painted it. It's a gray color. And then I used Old 57. The first layer I brushed on, and the second one, I found this really hard sponge. I don't know if it's a sponge, but I thought I wanted to use it for the texture. And so I just put some paint on it and then dabbed over to change the brush strokes to that gorgeous texture. And it made the paint kind of bubble up. And I love the way that it turned out. I really wasn't expecting it to be so bubbly, but it dried very texturized. And then I used my heat gun to crack that paint. And oh, it's so beautiful. I'm mixing Electrified in DIY paint, and I think this one is Fancy Farm Girl, to get sort of a brighter green, but not as bright as Electrified. Then I grabbed this old stencil with a damask pattern and just sponged on that damask all over the book on both sides. Now I'm going to seal this clay paint. It always needs to be sealed. Once you seal it, it will bring the natural color back out, and then also it won't be able to be reactivated with water. I went ahead and sealed everything, and on the spine, we're going to do something really cool with that. I have grabbed out several of my little paper books that has little ephemera things in them. They're just so cute to do this kind of project with. So I just picked out one sheet out of each little book, and what we're going to do is we're going to tear each sheet just a piece off that has something kind of neat on it, like maybe a stamp or a letterhead, anything like that, and we're going to put it on the spine of this book. Now I'm just going to use permanent glue stick for this. This will hold just as well as any type of glue you will use, Mod Podge, anything like that. Now I just pieced this on there, and then I kind of cut off the edges. Once I get those cut off, then I pulled out one of my little sticker books, and I pulled a few little vintage stickers out that I thought would look really cute with this ephemera on the spine. Next, we're going to add some of those beautiful gold pieces from IOD's Gilded Transfer line. I'm not sure, this is just out of different books. So I put a lot of script all the way down the side of the book, or on the spine of the book, just so there'd be little flecks of gold. And then I grabbed one of these gold labels and put it on the spine as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and seal again because we put that gold on there and it needs to be sealed so it doesn't flake off. Once we get that done and I let it dry, I am going to sand the edges to get the rest of that off and make it look worn on the edge. After we finish that, I want to make sure this book stays closed because it's not going to be for reading, it's just decor. So I take my little crocodile, and this tool is in the description box below. If you don't have one of these, you can click on the link and it'll take you straight to the product. So I punched a hole on each side and added a little grommet because we're going to take some gorgeous gold string. I actually got this gold string from the Dollar Tree in the hair section. I guess it's meant to wrap down through braids so you can see the gold. Once I got it wrapped, then I tied my bow, and this book will now stay closed permanently unless someone unstrings it. I went ahead and grabbed that gold marker and did sort of the same thing all around the edges of this to give it just an extra look, and I was having a lot of fun with this gold marker. I've had it for a while in my stash, and I've used it a lot. I used it at Christmas, and this thing is amazing. It's well worth the money. I can't remember how much it was, but I remember I was like, I don't know that I want to buy that, but then I did, and I love it. Once I finish having fun with that gold marker, I'm going to take that gold wax by DIY and a brush, and I'm just going to fill in or go all around the edges of this book to give the edge of the pages that gold gilded look, just like some of those books that you buy that's kind of fancy. They have that gold edging on them. Well, that's what this one's going to look like. I had a blast making this book, and I was thinking how cool it would be to make some Dollar Tree books. Let me know what you think about this one in the comments below. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to my channel, hit that subscribe button. Leave me a comment. Let me know that you enjoy watching these videos, and any of those things help support my channel. Let's get a little junky with project number 4. I grabbed out this cute little cutting board. Now this was only $3, and it has a stamp on the back of it, handcrafted in 2017 by someone. I'm going to leave the backing like it is, but for the front I grabbed a little thing that had some junk in it when I was doing some junky videos. I never put it up, so I'm just digging through it and finding a few little things that I might want to use on this cutting board. I love to get out stuff and just have a little pile and try out little things to see what I like the best. All I do is grab my stuff and each piece just kind of put it where I think it might fit, or just kind of see how it goes. And that's the easiest way for me when I'm doing sort of the junky videos. We end up with this one using not that wood piece. I actually used one a little bit smaller that I found, but there's so many things that could have been used, but I loved that frame and I loved that wood piece, so we ended up going with those. I wanted this cutting board to be more like a little piece of art, so I thought we would grab some of my little tiny books and look for some type of artwork that would just be so cozy, hanging in the kitchen, that would go well, but didn't necessarily have to be food. So I pulled out a few little books and started looking through them to find the perfect piece for this. Now, I was very tempted by these mushrooms and florals in this little book, but I did not go with them. I went with something similar to the last video we did, and it is the little cottage book that just had so many things that felt cozy and had some warm tones and some greens that I thought would look great on this cutting board. I wanted to give a background of colorful paints, but still sort of neutral, woodsy, cozy looking. So I grabbed out this Fusion Bayberry, and I'm going to put just a haphazard coat on here and mix in some other colors to bring out the colors in this little piece of art or little paper that's going to go in our frame. I grabbed out some of my DIY clay paints just to go on top of this. Now, the bottom paint is Fusion, so it has a built-in sealer. These do not, so they are easily mixed together, and I'm just kind of blending them, not really drying in between, because the background, this is going to be the background, okay? We have several more steps to go over this, and I know it just looks like a big mess right now, but that's okay. We're going to seal it in for right now, because the next step is going to add even more depth and texture to this. I'm using my Kindest Regards stamp and just the black IOD ink, and not putting all of the text on there, just touching little areas to add some text in the background, and using one of the IOD crackle stamps. I love using these little things just to kind of, I don't know, add all over to things. Now we're going to work on the pieces that's going on here. I am painting them this cast iron, which is a black color. We are definitely going to add some things to this, so it's not going to be so black. I kept looking at this piece and thinking, okay, I want to do this. So I added some white wax and then wiped back some of it, but not a lot. And I also added white wax to the black pieces that we just painted. And then I thought, I need some damask and gold on here. That was a lot of the theme of this video. So I grabbed out a Tim Holtz stamp set because it has this smaller damask, and I'd already added or glued on the wood filigree at the top of this board. So I went ahead and used my gold metallic ink pad and just stamped over this, and you'll see it not quite here, but coming up when I do a couple other things, you'll see how that gold really adds something different to that background as well. Now that ink pad had just had it, and I've not used it that much, but it came detached from the actual base. So I had this gold all over me, but you can see I'm rubbing it on that gold piece on these edges, and it is still full of gold ink. So I guess the glue just wasn't holding up on that plastic. I cut a small piece of transparency clear film that I had picked up a pack at a Goodwill to give the front of this little piece of artwork a clear, not glass to go over it, but a clear piece just to make it look a little bit more high end. And I added gold around that frame as well. And then I decided I needed to add a little bit of black around the edge of this cutting board just to help frame it even more. And I rub it in a little bit with my finger so it's not so stark. I mean, the techniques just kept coming on this one, and I love how it turned out. Now, do you have to do these many things? No, absolutely not. But when you're in the mood and in the moment and you're having a lot of fun and you keep thinking, oh, I want to do this, and oh, I want to do that, it's so much fun experimenting. So go for it, keep doing it. This piece kind of reminds me of where the hobbits live on Lord of the Rings. I don't know. I just love it. Project number 5 is the cutest little thing. I found this for $2 at a thrift store, and it's a little storage piece. The lid is missing and it has a clock in it. Well, we are going to use this for something totally different than what it was meant to be for. We are going to remove that clock for now because I'm going to give this a good coat of Fusion paint in the color Brook. I just love Fusion paints. They cover so well and mostly in one coat, so you don't waste a lot of money on multiple coats. Fusion all-in-ones, it is my favorite for all-in-one for the coverage. I've not found anything that covers like Fusion so far. All right, we're going to use one of these gorgeous, well, a couple pieces out of these gorgeous sewing pattern prints. Now, I purchased these already printed, and I'm just going to take one that I really like and cut out a circle that's going to fit inside of that clock piece. I decided to cut the circle piece as a background and then I cut out a sewing machine, and I'm just going to glue it on top of that circle piece. Now, I did add a piece of thin cardboard to the back of the paper so it would be quite strong to be able to glue inside of that clock backing. I used hot glue and E6000 to attach that cardboard to the backing that the clock was on. Now for a little added fun and sparkle, I've added some of these cute little rocks inside of the plastic dome that covers the sewing machine. Oh my goodness, I just love these. Okay, so to finish the little piece off, it's not a clock anymore, but to finish it off, I used some pink wax and some bronze wax. And I'm going to take that bronze wax and put it on the feet, and then of course all around the edges of the painted piece. Now I popped our little sewing machine piece in there, and this is how we look so far. I just love this. We are going to turn this into a little pin cushion. So I've grabbed some of my favorite fabrics out, and I chose this Tim Holtz fabric that looks like rulers, and it is perfect for this piece. I cut out a piece of cardboard the same size as the opening, making sure I had enough to go on the edges of the piece. I grabbed some stuffing out of an old pillow and saved those old pillows so you can use the stuffing. I cut that to fit, and then I started adding my fabric around the edges, getting all of the corners first and then folding in all those edges so it would look really neat once it's glued down. I'm just going to use hot glue to glue it to the top of our piece, and now we have a perfect little pin cushion. Let me know what you think about this one. Project number 6. This one is so beautiful. It was so easy. I found this adorable little frame. It's like a little Victorian dresser. It was $2, and I knew that we could turn this into something so elegant. So I grabbed out this Fusion Champlain color, and really this only took one coat, and it just made this piece look so different. Even without the next step, this would have just been gorgeous as a cream colored elegant frame. So I ended up just painting most of the front. I did leave a little bit of the gold on the edges because we are going to come back and add some Rub and Buff gold to this to make all those little tiny things stand out. like the designs on the top of the mirror. I'm assuming that's what this is supposed to be. And all the way down to the hat and the little beads that's hanging out of the hat box. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful once we get that gold on there. Now I wanted to add just a really whimsical, not photo, but just a printed design to this. And I had this little set in my stash. So I grabbed some of the gorgeous, I think those are daisies, out of there and just cut it down to fit that frame. And this piece is finished and I love it. It's so simple yet so beautiful. Let me know what you think about this one. Project number 7. Oh my goodness, I had so much fun making this one. Now we're just going to use this 99-cent frame. This looks like it might be from the 80s or 90s. I don't know, but that's okay. It was only 99 cents and we're going to use my really dried up DIY clay paint in the color Prom Queen. Now all I have to do is add some water back to this paint and stir it and it will reconstitute. I just love to make those pieces that I can use a lot of different products, a lot of different sparkly. It just brings me joy. And I don't forget that there are people who want that one piece to go in maybe their whole black and white art studio that just speaks to them and is magical. And that's what this piece is. I let that clay paint dry and then I added my favorite matte clear coat and let that dry. And now I've just pulled out some of my waxes and things that will give this that hint of sparkle. Now I've had these waxes for a long time. They make them in tubes now. They're the Prima waxes. And this one I think is old denim. I don't know. I showed you right at the beginning, but I'm using that all over this frame. Now I'm trying to get as much on there as I can. It looks a little ragged, but now we're going to use this beautiful Luna paste. This is something that I've had for a long time too, and it just stays creamy. I've had this jar and the next jar probably about 5 years, and they've not dried up at all. So it's great. Now I'm just going to take this Luna paste and go all over and get that wax that's on there blended in so it doesn't look so dry and streaky. And it really just blends that wax so well. Now that I have those blues looking the way that I want, I'm going to add a little bit of warmth to this frame. And I have another Luna paste that is more of a creamy gold color. And I'm just going to add this to all of the edges or corners of this frame. And you'll see why coming up, because it adds light to the frame that's going to match what we're going to put in it. Once I let this dry, I picked out some of these images. This is going to be Cinderella's castle. I know we've had some really cute things in this video. I told you they were going to be magical. So I have these prints and I just picked out one that I thought would go well with our frame. I just cut it down to the backing size and added it. And now look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? Project 8 and 9, really easy, lots of fun. You can take these to any level you want. I grabbed out a lot of my papers that I enjoy looking through, and I just decided that I was going to put a specific theme on these 2 very buried clipboards that you can't see. And I wanted to do a large one and a small one. I just thought it would be really cute to do a set. So I picked out my favorite papers out of these. All these are printable digitals off of Etsy, and they come from Shabby Dabby Doodah, which is a paper crafter, and she has a lot of digitals on Etsy. If you're a paper crafter, you'll know who I'm talking about. I love some of her designs, so that's what we're going to use today. I'm just using my favorite permanent glue stick, and I'm just gonna do like a patchwork quilt, cutting out pieces, kind of playing Tetris, to put these where I want them. And I'm just going to cut around the little clip or the clip on here because this one is not removable. So you just kind of have to work around it, but that's okay because I'm going to show you what we'll do earlier that'll fill in a few of those little gaps. Or I'm going to show you a little later. Oh my gosh, this video is really long. All right, so I'm just placing these pieces kind of how I want them. And some of them I do overlap just to give it a little bit of a different look. So you just do yours however you like. You can even tear the paper. You don't have to cut it perfectly. Once we get all these down, I will give this a good coat, probably of Mod Podge, just because I want this to be, I want it to last when someone purchases it and not get fingerprints and all that. So I'll probably do at least one thick good coat of Mod Podge, if not two. For the overlap, you can use scissors and cut this off, but I'm using sandpaper because I just want that really perfect edge. And I'm also going to do something coming up to complete that edge. You'll see that soon. Now, the reason that I chose these purpley and yellow colors, you'll see it's adorable, and we're going to add it to this. Now, you can really dress these up and keep going. I added a couple little flowers here and there just to kind of break up some of that those patterns and give it an extra little touch. I'm going to take this Fusions Champlain color and just stipple it on. I'm going to do 2 coats, and I'm also going to take the paint and go around all the edges of this clipboard, and I'm going to use this to go around those edges of paper that may have some gaps in between the metal where I had to cut and place them around, and that's going to fill in and blend those papers well. To finish this piece off, we're going to add this gorgeous rooster. And I'm just going, it's a pin, so I'm just going to slide it down on here. I'm going to add 3 pieces of this sari silk that matches the colors in the papers and of course the pin. I'm going to tie a bow, and I'm going to glue with some E6000 and hot glue another little jeweled piece over that hole to complete this clipboard. I have this mini clipboard. I did the same thing too, except for I added a sunflower pin with some E6000 and some hot glue over the little hole to make this a pair. What do you think of these two? I love making over clipboards. They are so easy. Last but not least, project number 10. And you all know I saved an awesome project for the end. I normally wouldn't pay $5 for a frame of this size. However, when I saw it, I knew exactly what I wanted to use it for. Now tell me in the comments below if you saw it too. I had just gotten this cute little Alice in Wonderland paper set, and I knew that this would make a perfect frame for some Alice decor. These are stickers, and then of course there is some background papers. So I didn't use any of the background papers, but I used one of my own and cut it down to size to fit in the frame so I could add some of these gorgeous stickers to it. Now I'm going to be using my Distress Oxide in black to kind of outline these little stickers because they have a lot of white on the edges, and that's fine if you don't like the outlining. I love it, and I just do that to all the pieces, peel the sticking off the back, and put them down and just kind of make a little scene. This was so much fun. It's like my kid at heart comes out when it's stuff like this. You all know I love paper crafting though. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Also, if you stayed until the end, leave me the letter A or the word Alice to let me know you stayed until the end with me. I just wanted to tell you I'm cutting this little book right here so I can insert one of these little card guys in there. Don't forget, you can add all kinds of depth and things to your projects just by thinking outside the box. I go ahead and trim off all the excess edges and pop this thing in the frame, and I love how it looks. but we're going to add a few more little things. I saw there was a couple little quotes on some of these background papers, so I just cut them out, also edged around them with that black ink, added them to that paper before I popped it, or the little scenery before I popped it into the frame. Now I do have these little stickers, and they're like nail stickers, and I thought they would be really cute because they're about the same size as the hearts and things on here. So I added them to the backs of the cards and on the top part of the frame. And because the backs of the cards had this weird shiny sticker, I just went ahead and took my matte finish RUSTOLEUM chalked clear coat and went over the whole frame to seal in those little nail stickers and to get that clear shiny sticker look gone away. Now let me know what you all think about this one. I enjoyed making it so much. I thought we would end the video with a little recap since there were so many projects, and I will see you in the next video.